Yo, peace and blessings, family. Yo, welcome to the BTS podcast where we talk about business, transportation, and sports. And today we got a special guest for you. I like to consider him a brother, a personal friend of mine. He goes by D1 Credit Repair. Ahmad Henderson, man. Welcome to the show, brother.
How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm blessed, man. So we've been trying to make this one happen for a while, so I'm excited about this episode because we're going to share a lot of gems with the audience and kind of give them some gems on how they can go about repairing their credit, how they can get business funding, and things of those natures, man. You cool?
Absolutely.
You ready to go, bro?
You know that.
All right, let's get it, man.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, man, I want to first off start with, let's just give you the backstory. Like, how did you get into credit repair, and, like, what's your mission behind it?
Okay, so, really, I started in real estate.
Okay.
I started in real estate, rental properties, things like that, as well as, fix and flip.
Yeah.
So then what happened was I kind of got into kind of a bind,
Okay.
because, when you're using your own money and things like that, and then with rentals, everybody talk about the rental properties and things like that, but especially when you rehabbing them, things go wrong and you may need a 10,000, 15, 20,000.
Yeah.
And then where you go,
Absolutely.
And the wife is only gonna let you go to the savings so much,
No doubt.
So then I said, you know what? Let me pause for a minute because at the time I was getting private funding. I was in the real estate group, so I was getting private funding.
Talk about that for a moment when you say private funding.
Private funding is just basically where you get someone who has like a 401k,
Okay.
things like that,
Okay.
401k, and they lend their money
Gotcha.
to you for
Okay.
a fix and flip or a rental property.
Kind of like a hard money lender.
For them, kind of, but it's a personal. It's more of a relationship basis. So it's kind of like if you had 500,000 in your 401k, and I say, Vaughn, I need 200k for this property. I give you all the numbers, and you say, okay, here, and then give me my interest on top of it.
Okay.
And then
So what's the average interest on a private fund?
I know the interest rate I was getting was I think it was like 10%.
10%.
And then like 1% a month. So
Okay.
it was actually worth it.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth it. But when you in the real estate game, you can fall hard.
Absolutely.
You can fall hard. When you fall hard, one deal could take you out.
Absolutely.
So
Okay. So you was in the private funding space doing flipping flips, fixing flips, ran into some turbulence.
Absolutely.
Right? And then you had to pivot from there. And I'm assuming that's what got you into the credit space.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
So then I said, so I'm like, why I keep using my own money? I'm using my own money for everything, and I ran out.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I ran out of money.
Yeah.
So then I just went into like a caveat on YouTube about business funding, and I just went into that Herman Dolce and
Okay.
all them guys, and I just kind of just obsessed over it.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, I could do that.
Okay.
I could do the business funding. So I started, doing a little bit of the business funding. And what I realized is that most people don't have the credit to business funding.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So
right.
then I never wanted to do credit repair. Never.
Okay.
Because that was the one thing I said I never do credit repair.
Okay. Why is that?
Just because, and it's nothing against individuals who got bad credit, but you're dealing with people who sometimes they're not realistic.
Yeah.
So they're not realistic.
It took them years to damage it and they want a quick fix.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I didn't want to go into it, but I feel like I'm a faith guy. I feel like God kind of pushed me into the credit repair space.
Okay.
So I kind of left the funding for a while and say, you know what, let me focus on the credit repair. And my goal was to build the best credit repair company ever.
Dope.
You know what I mean?
Man, that's a blessing, man. So really just solving problems, right? Just kind of led you into getting into this space, right? Starting out as a real estate investor, running out of capital, using private lenders, figured out, hey, it got to be a better way where I can get financing because we know that the traditional banks, the Wells Fargos, the Chases, they want your first child, right?
Absolutely.
In order to give you a little bit of money,
Yeah.
right?
And they're not giving it to you on the real estate side. That is not going to happen.
Yeah, because that's considered a high-risk industry,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Right, just like trucking, right? Me being in box trucks, I try to advise my students, hey, when you're naming your company, you don't necessarily have to put logistics, transportation,
absolutely.
all of those things because it's considered a high-risk industry as well as real estate. So that's a jewel for you guys that's thinking about starting a real estate business or a box truck or any type of trucking or transportation business, try to refrain from putting anything that's remotely close to logistics, carrier, on time, anything like that. Try to stay away from that because that is considered a high-risk industry, and the banks are reluctant to loan you financing as a business owner in that space. All right.
Yeah.
So real estate, private lending, got into the funding space, wanted to look to fund small businesses or individuals trying to start businesses, realized that, hey, the criteria to get the funding, a lot of the mass is not meeting these criteria, right? So you found another solution to a problem, which came to credit repair. So tell me, what are some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to credit repair?
I think some of the biggest misconceptions is that it's automatically a scam.
Okay.
That's, and in fairness, like, I'm pretty sure I know most of my clients, they've been scammed by somebody trying to fix their credit. If not, definitely one, if not two or three.
Okay.
So once they come to me, they already scarred.
Yeah.
And it's a reason behind that. I mean, it's a low barrier entry to the credit space.
As a business owner?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, because in fairness, if I know how to kind of fix credit a little bit, I can just fix credit. I mean, you still supposed to have, surety bonds and different things, but you can still just do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the Leroy guy down the block. Up the block, he can just fix your credit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's where the issues come from.
Okay.
Because it's going to take multiple rounds. So if I say, Vaughn, I can fix your credit. I say, man, just give me 1,000 and I got you.
Mm-hmm.
So you give me that 1,000.
Yeah.
Fam, it's going to take. I tell my clients, and we'll get into 6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months?
That's what I say. I say 6 to 9 months. Now, granted, I fix credit in 1 month.
Yeah.
1 month, 2 months.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But I would never tell my clients that.
So you like to under promise and over deliver.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You said it'll take multiple rounds. So for those that's not familiar with the credit space, explain, what is a round and how long does a round typically take?
Well, obviously, once the letters go out, we may, first of all, we got, so the main thing is, the first thing, and it may sound easy or it may sound regular, but pull your credit report.
Yeah, right.
Like, pull your credit report. Like, probably 7 out of the 10 clients, they don't know what's going on with their credit.
Yeah.
So the thing is, what they do is, it's kind of one of those things where it's bad, so you don't even want to look at it.
Yeah.
But we have to get out of that.
Yeah.
You got to get out of it and face it. I wasn't all that good in school, but it's kind of like when your credit report comes.
Yeah.
I mean, my fault. When your report card comes, you don't want to look at it. You ain't did nothing all semester.
Right.
You got F's and D's. You don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Till moms tell you, like, this is unacceptable.
No doubt.
And you kind of peek at it. You don't even peek at it. I never even peeked at it. I already know what I get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
So that's kind of
that's the first step.
Yeah.
Take a look at your credit report. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a link in the description as well. We're going to give you guys a link where you can pull and get a copy of your free credit report.
Absolutely.
Right? So go ahead, bro. Credit report, and let's talk about the rounds. You said, before we get to that, you said we have to send out the letter. So I know there's multiple ways to dispute credit, right? You got consumer reporting.
Yeah.
You got Metro 2 compliance. Like, what method do you guys use?
We use them all.
Okay.
We use them all.
A combination.
We use a combination because you just don't know. You can't just come with the same thing over and over and just expect it to work.
Yeah.
You kind of got to you got to pivot and do this and do that and kind of throw the bureaus off at times.
Okay.
I don't like to call them bureaus. I call them credit agencies.
No doubt. Yeah.
So it's different. It's different letters and different things that you got to do, and you got to stay on top of your game, because if you just continue to send the same letters out every time, they get on to it.
Okay.
But like I said, it's going to take. That's why I say 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
And go back to your question. That's what happens, how people end up being scammed. Because if I'm just Leroy down the block fixing credit, okay, you give me $1,000. Okay, so after 2 rounds, that's 2 months.
Okay.
You may not get nothing.
Right.
Okay, I got other clients going on. It's no system. It's me sending the letters off. everything. I don't have a team. I'm just doing it. You're going to get overwhelmed and it's over.
Absolutely.
You're not going to send no more. You're not sending nothing. That first client that you had, he going to say, man, I gave you $1,000. Where it's at, you're not going to be, and you're not going to have it. You're not going to have the results. You're not even going to know. So you got to be professional.
Absolutely.
You got to be professional.
Absolutely. And I know D1 Credit, right? You guys stand on morals, and I know you guys got a strong team, right? So I know you're just not doing it yourself. But let me ask you this. So what's the goal, right? Like tell me what a profile, an approved profile should look like for someone who's like, hey, I want to get funding for my business. I know I need credit repair, but I'm not sure exactly what I need to be trying to accomplish with my credit profile. So let's talk about that for a moment.
Well, first of all, you want your personal information right.
Okay.
You don't want all these different addresses on it, all these different, the addresses, all these different names and everything, because the banks, they professional. Obviously, they want to know, it's a business. You're a business.
Yeah.
So when you come in, it's not just, Vaughn coming in asking for a loan. No, it's your business. If they finna give you 50 to 100, 150,000, they want to know they're gonna get their money back.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the main thing. One, as far as the personal information, and then just going down, you don't want any negative items.
Okay.
You can't have any negative items. Not one.
What if it's 7 years old?
You don't want no negative
Nothing.
items.
Okay,
You
cool.
don't want negative items. And they possibly can.
That's what we've been taught growing up, right? Like if it's 7 years old, it'll drop off or be removed, or it won't hurt you. But if it's showing, it could be 10 years old. It's going to affect you.
It's going to affect you.
Okay.
It's going to affect you because you show, 7 years ago. It's a possibility. So just get it deleted. Bottom line, just get it deleted.
Okay.
Come with a clear credit report, so you don't give them any reason to deny you.
Okay, so clean up if you got any old addresses, if you've moved or worked multiple jobs and you got all these different jobs listed,
Definitely.
you got these multiple addresses listed, go ahead and get those, clean it up where it's just where you currently live, right, where you currently work, right, get all of any negative items, any late payments, get those deleted. Okay, what else do we need to do?
Inquiries.
Okay.
You don't want more than I say 2.
And what time span?
Well, I mean, they're gonna drop off in 2 years.
Okay.
So if you got them in the 2 years, if it's like 2, that's cool.
Within what though, like 3-4 months or?
Oh well, I mean, it just don't matter. If you got 2 and it's like 3-4 months, it's
okay.
cool.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But no more than that. You don't want no more than that. So before you go in, when you go in for funding, you want your credit report spotless as it can be.
Okay.
So because you don't want to give them sometimes they looking to deny.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm trying to break this down for the audience so they understand exactly what they're trying to accomplish, right? Or what they're going to get when they come to D1 credit repair. All right. So first off, I want to recap a little bit. You're going to make sure that your personal information is accurate and not all over the place, right? No old addresses, not multiple jobs, and you're currently working at one. So we're going to clean that up. Then we're going to make sure that all of the negative items have been deleted, right? Any late payments, any collections, anything like that, let's get those removed. If you got multiple inquiries, right? Meaning you've been running your credit trying to get loans, okay? You're going to get those removed. You don't want more than 2 inquiries. Doesn't matter of the length of time. And then what's next? What else do we need?
You want your business to be established. I mean, 2 years would be great.
Okay.
2 years, but they will give it to you with a new LLC, especially if you have a great credit profile.
Okay.
But if you got 2 years and you got the great credit profile, you should be a slam dunk.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about the profile though, because again, I want to break these things down. To me and you, like, if we know what it is.
Absolutely.
But there's somebody out there that's watching this video that's like, okay, what does he mean by profile?
Okay.
So let's break that down. What should the profile look like after? We already talked about the deletions. We talked about the inquiries being removed. We talked about cleaning up the personal information. Now, what should the profile look like?
Well, once you get everything as far as the personal information, the negative items, and the inquiries off, obviously, hopefully, the credit score is at least at 680 or above. Now the higher the credit score, the better. But 680 above, you should be good. But if you're in the 700, 720 with a great, with all those all the personal information, the inquiries, and no negative items, you should be good.
What about like trade lines? Is there a amount of trade lines that they should have?
Well, I mean, it just kind of depends on the trade line.
Okay.
Because sometimes they may know that it's not your account.
Right. No, not AUs, not authorized users.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to get at right now is because I'm gonna talk about one particular program that I'm familiar with, which is Chase. Right.
Okay.
Chase is offering up to $50,000 for new businesses, but what they want to see is a 680 credit score, just like you stated.
Yeah.
No negative items, no collections, very few inquiries. But they're looking for 5 trade lines. They can be card note, house payment, 3 credit cards, as long as it comes to 5, so you can show some type of reliability and payments.
Absolutely.
Right. So I guess we talked about credit repair, but I'm kind of jumping around into
That's cool.
to the funding, to the financing.
Yeah.
Right. So because our audience is primarily small business owners.
Definitely.
Right. That's looking to get funding for their businesses.
Definitely.
Right. So what banks do you work with, and what are some of the criteria that you see?
Well, I mean, I think some of the main banks I know Chase.
Okay.
I'm in the Chicago area, but we kind of do it, nationwide.
Okay.
PNC is a great bank. Like I said, Chase, and it's a lot of different credit unions that give you a lot of money for your business too. And those are things that you kind of get a reputation with them, so you get a bank account with them or something like that, and then put some money in the bank account, and then kind of go from there.
Okay.
As long as you got the profile after that, they'll give you some money too.
Have you ran into anybody with bankruptcy and was you able to get that removed? If you got bankruptcy, is it still hope for that person?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. As far as with us with D1 Credit Repair, we definitely can remove a bankruptcy.
Okay.
We have done that.
Does it take longer or?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely. It's gonna take longer, and that's one of the main things too with just the credit repair. Period. You gotta be patient.
Okay.
You gotta be patient. I think that's the thing that people don't realize, and you got to be transparent with your clients and let them know that it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
It's not going. In fairness, it may not get deleted.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It may not get deleted.
It's not guaranteed.
It ain't guaranteed.
Okay.
So, and that's where we go. But I know I'm jumping around, but we talk about scams where people tell you, "Hey, it's guaranteed, and I'm gonna do this. I guarantee I'm gonna do it." You might want to run the other way.
No doubt.
Because it's not guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's how.
It's not in your control. Really.
It's not in my control.
Yeah.
And that's how we get. That's how we get a lot of clients. I tell my sales team, be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Be transparent and let them know we gonna over deliver and under promise.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of our saying, and we kind of go from there, and they appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
They appreciate it because you're dealing with people's lives.
Absolutely.
You're dealing with people's lives, so you got people who they want a house in 6 months.
Right.
And they done promised their wife, they done promised their kids.
Yeah.
And you told them I can get it to you in 6 months. And you wasn't real. Or 4 months and you wasn't real with it.
Yeah.
And now at 4 months comes and you got 4 deletions and that's it.
Yeah.
Now they mad. Now they calling it a scam. And now you now you looking bad.
Yeah.
And you done collected their money already.
That scam word gets tossed around quite a bit though these days, right?
Absolutely.
All right, man. So that's good stuff, man. That's some good information right there. Right, so transparency, man, is one thing that you're gonna get with D1 Credit Repair. Obviously, the transparency is a trait of integrity, right? He mentioned earlier, right? He's a God-fearing man, spiritual guy, family guy. I know him personally, so I know these things about him. But that's dope, bro. That's dope. Now let's talk about the business piece for a minute. I'm gonna get in your business a little bit, bro.
Absolutely.
Right, because I'm sure some people out here want to know.
Yeah.
How can you start a credit repair business? I don't know. I don't know as much as you. I'm not as versed, or I don't have as much knowledge on it. But I'm like, okay, this is something I think I can get into. This is something I think I can do. But I just don't know how to get started.
Yeah.
Like, what's the first step, man?
Well, I mean, for me, it's understand it's gonna be time consuming. It's gonna be time consuming. So, when I started my business, I had, with the credit repair business, I had business funding. So that helped me extremely well because I was able to scale very fast. Okay. When I need to go get a staff member, some people to do my disputes, things like that, I was able to do that. So the thing is, when you're doing everything yourself, you're a one-man band.
Yeah.
Just know, don't take on a lot of clients.
Okay.
You take on a lot of clients, you're not going to be able to service them like that. Unless you do, you may be doing it full time, but if you're doing it full time, you're not going to make the money right away. So, and be transparent with everybody. You got to be transparent with everybody and know the business. Know the business, study it, and obsess on it.
Yeah.
And it can't be about the money. It can't. I didn't make money at first. I was losing money on a regular. Every month I was losing money.
Okay.
I was losing money, but I did it out of the love, and I knew God was calling me to do it. So,
How long before you start to see a profit?
I would probably say, you got to understand, once I got my sales team, I got my dispute team, I got social media team. So I came through the door,
Right.
jump straight in. You know what I'm saying? Because with the business credit, that's what I was able to scale fast. So, probably the first 5-6 months, I was losing money. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, man, those invoices coming. Regardless, you got to pay your sales team.
Absolutely.
You got to pay the dispute team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to pay your social media team. They get paid regardless if clients coming through the door or not.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So just be prepared it may not just pop off right away.
Absolutely.
But if you're doing it out of the love and just stay at it and stay grinding, it'll hit.
No, what type of income can one scale to? I know sky's the limit.
Yeah.
But let's give the person that they don't know much about it. They know it's something that they're good at. They may be good and very organized, right?
Absolutely.
And they feel like this is something I feel like I can excel at.
Definitely.
But I don't really have an idea of what type of money I can make, in this industry. Like, break down some numbers, man. Like, how can they get to the bag in this industry?
Well, first of all, it just kind of depends too. Like, do you work already? Like when I started, I had a W-2.
I'm gonna do it on the side.
You gonna do it on the side?
I got a little job. I'm making $50,000 a year. It's just not enough.
Okay.
But I work 8 hours, so
Okay.
I'm off at 3 or 4, so I can commit another 8 hours to it. I'm ready to put the work in.
Yeah.
It'd be a full-time job. It'd just be a second job.
Definitely.
Like, what type of bag can I get out of that?
Well, first, it's business, so it's kind of like how you gonna market, how you gonna get your clients.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you get the clients, who's gonna do the dispute?
Yeah.
When they do the dispute, who's gonna do the sales calls? Who's gonna do those things?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of figure out, like, am I gonna do that? So now keep in mind, if you doing that, when you get off at 4, you probably gonna be working from 4:30 to 10 at night.
Yeah, for sure.
You understand what I'm saying? So if you got kids, you got a wife, you got things like that, basketball game, you probably not gonna be able to make it. You know what I'm saying?
But that ain't my situation, though. I got 8 hours. I'm ready to get to the bag.
You ready?
Does D1 Credit Repair have a mentorship program where you can show somebody how to do that?
We currently don't. And that's the thing. And that, and looking at you and what you got going on too, it's kind of inspiring. So it's like, with me, I want to be the best credit repair company ever.
Got you.
Like, that's my goal. Like,
Yeah.
even like with, what I'm saying, with the funding and things like that, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I know it's a bag over there.
Yeah.
I want to be the best credit repair company ever.
That's going to lead to
That's cool.
the funding and all that, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you can position people to go get money,
Yeah.
that's just the birth of what you get actually doing,
Absolutely.
right? No, that's good stuff.
And that's the thing. So it's kind of like with me, I got to stay focused.
Yeah.
So when you go into, like, you talking about credit repair, then we talking about funding, then we talking about mentorship, we talking about this, we talking about that.
Yeah.
And then nothing gets off the ground because you're doing so much.
No doubt.
You know
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying? So what I learned, and kind of God kind of talked to me about that, like, focus on one thing.
This credit
And
repair.
let's make it the best ever.
Yeah.
And then from there, the funding come. Then we talking about mentorship. Then we
Yeah.
talking about speaking.
Yeah.
So it's so many things that I want to do.
Yeah.
But I got to make sure D1 Credit Repair is
That's the foundation.
the foundation.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
the foundation.
How long have you been doing credit repair?
Probably like 2.5, 3 years.
About 3 years now. Okay.
2.5, 3
So you can gain quite a bit of knowledge in 3 years
Definitely.
if you lock in on it, right?
Definitely.
So just share some encouraging words for the person that's like, hey, I know what to do, right? But they've been paralyzed by fear, right? And they want to take that next step. Like, give them some encouraging words, because I'm sure you've had days where you kind of questioned it and you like, you know what? Is this really something I want to do? Is it really going to be worth it? I know you want to help people, but again, it takes money to run a business. So, like, What's some encouraging words for that person out there?
Well, I mean, as far as the limiting belief, just know, I mean, me, myself, and I got a successful company, I still have limiting beliefs probably 3-4 times a week.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
every day I wake up like, this ain't gonna work. It's working, but
Doubt start to creep in.
absolutely. And for me, I just feel like that's gonna be whatever you do.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
Yeah.
You can be making $20 million on the court on basketball. We know we basketball guys.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a point where shots not falling, things like that, and you like, hey, maybe I ain't that good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotta keep getting those shots.
Gotta keep, yeah. So
Yeah.
And I just kind of rely on my mentors that I call on you on a regular basis and say, what I supposed to do, bro? I feel like quitting.
Yeah.
Because you gonna feel like quitting.
Okay.
That's guaranteed. You gonna
Yeah.
feel like quitting, but you can't. And that's what I learned is you just can't quit.
Okay.
You gotta keep grinding. You gotta keep grinding and keep grinding. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Me being from Chicago, like that's what we know. You know, that's all we know is to grind. It's cold as heck out here for eight months out of the year.
Absolutely.
So it's no sun, none of that. We just got to grind. So, but make sure you study the business. Study business and make sure you take care of your clients. Make sure you professional. And that's the main thing because you're going to see people are not going to trust you if you're not professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going to trust you. So even if I take a client on, I may not make money. You know what I'm saying? Maybe times when I don't make money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people owe me money right now. You know, that I told the sales team, don't worry about it. Don't
Okay.
cut them off in any capacity. Older ladies who was going through stuff, I just said, don't worry about it. You know, we'll get it. Maybe or maybe not. We're going to still face their credit.
So we're going to wrap up with the last few questions, right?
Yep.
I want to ask you, first off, we talked about scams and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You said that if they're guaranteeing you some results, right, that's kind of a red flag to stay away from.
Yeah.
Like, give me a couple more red flags so people can look out for.
A couple more red flags will be a lot of money up front.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of money up front. I had to change my model, my payment model too. But when someone's asking you, first of all, what you got to do is, I mean, especially if you see someone, I know everybody's on Instagram and Facebook,
Yeah.
and everybody maybe running ads. When you click on these ads, go to their landing page.
Okay.
Do you see testimonials?
Yeah.
And things like that. You know, are they trustworthy?
Yeah.
You know, and then you kind of got to study the industry just a little bit so you can kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because once you get on that sales call, they'll give their hand.
Yeah.
You know, they'll give their hand by saying stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if they saying they want 1,000 up front, okay, I'm gonna give you 1,000 up front, but it ain't no.
What do I get?
Oh well, it'll be done in 2-3 months.
It's a flag.
Real? Yeah, it's a red flag. You know what I'm saying? If it sound, what's my mom used to say? If it sound too good, it's probably too. It's probably yeah. So
Good deal.
yeah, so
So money up front, too much money up front.
yeah, promising results.
Promising results.
Yeah.
And then give me one more.
Probably when you get on using your intuition.
Yeah.
Using your intuition.
Yeah.
Like that's why, I don't really do too many sales calls now because I got a sales team.
Yeah.
But I'm just real as possible.
Yeah.
With it. I'm over real. Like I probably, my sales coach tell me like, no, you ain't got to tell them all that. You know what I'm saying? I tell them about my kids and everything, like, because I just be transparent about it. That, I'm a real person. I'm a fixture credit. I give them my personal number. They get my personal. I get clients, they calling me on my personal line. I'm out to eat.
Yeah.
So just being transparent with them and things like that. And the rest will take care of itself and pray on it. That's the main thing, obviously, is to pray on it.
Gotta keep God first, man.
Yeah.
So there you have it, man. There you have it, right? This is my man Amar Henderson with D1 Credit Repair. Before we wrap up, bro, just give me a 5-year plan. Like, what's the plan for D1 Credit, and what do you see the company going in the next 5 years?
Well, I mean, our goal is to get to 100 clients a month as soon as possible.
Nice.
That's the goal right now.
Yeah.
And I break those goals down, obviously. You know what I'm saying? 50 clients a month, then 75, and then 100.
Yeah. Okay.
Things like that. Get the business funding, get that blowing up. So we got that, as well as mentorship, as well as speaking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's all those things. But like I said earlier, I got to focus on D1 Credit Repair. So I want to really blow that up. Okay. And I know we getting crazy results. Our results are crazy. And like I said, I don't make promises. But if you go to my Instagram page, D1 underscore Hen HEN underscore.
Okay.
We post the results right there, and we constantly teaching. I'm constantly teaching.
Yeah.
You know, I'm constantly teaching about credit because that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My son, 20 years old, just bought a Tesla yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah, I
I'm
was
saying?
there. I was there
Bought a
for it.
Tesla yesterday, and we built his credit up from when he was 17, 18.
Nice.
He went in there, no money down, no nothing. Period. Beautiful car note.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 20
Yep.
years old. You know, played Division I basketball, so he cool.
Man, shout out to Little Ma too, man.
Yeah.
And shout out to your queen, Jennifer, man. Great parents, great family, man.
Yeah.
So there you have it, y'all. My man, Ahmad Henderson with D1 Credit Repair. You can follow him. Give him your IG again.
D1 underscore Hen HEN underscore.
Yeah, check him out, man. Follow him. I'm gonna drop his IG in the description as well, so you guys can go to his page. He give a lot of game, y'all, a lot of free game. If you just study his IG for a minute, you may be able to figure out how to remove some things yourself, right? So definitely check him out, man. It's been a pleasure, bro.
After that, and one last thing, we gonna give him the Facebook too.
Go ahead,
Just because I read I think it's Ahmad Henderson on the Facebook.
Okay.
We'll put that on the screen.
Yeah.
But I never was on Facebook. I just recently got on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I kind of love it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more personal.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I see friends and things like that. So come blow us up on Facebook, my personal page, and you will see more about me. And that's the thing, like with the Instagram, it's kind of like more business and credit and things like that. But I do a lot as far as in the community. I do a lot with my son on the basketball side, Division I athlete. I'm a great family man, church going guy. So, follow us on that Facebook also.
Let's go. Integrity, man. Integrity at its finest, man. So listen, y'all. That wraps up this episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at My Box Truck Solutions. Also, go to my YouTube page, like and subscribe. You can find me on YouTube at Vonzell Simmons. This is my full name. That's VONZELL. Last name Simmons. You can watch the full episode there. And man, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.